Hi everyone, it's me, StrikerStar19, once again. I'm aware it has been insanely long since my last video. To tell you the truth, I've been trying to think about where I want to go moving forward with this channel, and thinking over how I want to go about future videos, gathering resources, all that jazz. But I'm happy to be finally making my return. I have plenty of videos and essay ideas kind of on the back burner, but for the time being, I thought in a style similar to Super Eye Patch Wolf's Favorite Things videos, I would give you a rundown on what I've been occupying myself with in the meantime. So, for the first of what I hope is many times, let's take a moment to appreciate the little things. I'm hard-pressed to think of a video game that I was more hyperfixated with as a kid than Crash Team Racing, with its zany cast of colorful characters and unforgettable settings and racetracks. To that end, I am overjoyed with Beenox and Activision's remake, Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled, which brings back everything I loved about the old game and just dresses it up with more bells and whistles than you can shake a Wumpa fruit at. If you told me that the likes of Entrance, Zam, and Zem from Crash Nitro Kart would ever be in an HD video game, I would have slapped you in the face. And the Nitro Squad being playable for the first time ever in the insanely addicting Grand Prix system just has me playing for hours and hours in a way I haven't since I was a little kid. Also, if Crash Bandicoot isn't your top choice for Smash DLC, you can get the hell out of my face. If you asked me what my favorite movie of 2018 was, I would easily say Paul Feig's A Simple Favor. Some would call this a black comedy, some a crime thriller, and some even a scandalous romance. And that's what I really love about it in a movie landscape that's so desperate to pigeonhole things and sell to the same market and groups over and over and over again. A Simple Favor is just so distinctly its own thing, and it excels at everything it tries, dancing in every genre you can think of, while never feeling inconsistent or unfulfilled in any element. Anna Kendrick is still one of my favorite people to watch on the silver screen, as she entertains opposite the terrifying and excellent Blake Lively, the stunning villainess and one of my favorite antagonists in a movie in ages. If you want something truly unique and unapologetically strange at the very least, I can't recommend A Simple Favor enough. Studio MDHR's Cuphead, just recently released on the Nintendo Switch, and by extension, just recently released on a console I could play it on, is just as colorful, entertaining, and insanely challenging as anyone would have you believe. But getting better and better is also just absurdly rewarding. The way the boss battles are split into phases just makes you feel you can get closer and closer to nabbing that carrot tied to your forehead. And every time you die, it just feels like, oh, I could have avoided that. But it feels so rewarding to finally pile your experiences on top of each other and finally take down that boss and earn that rewarding soul contract, only to start all over again on the titanic, almost monumental feeling next battle. This game does not pull its punches, but it doesn't give you just one way to play either. With a myriad of power-ups and special charms, you can defeat those challenges your way, and I love a game like that. It reminds me a lot of one of my favorite Nintendo video games, Punch-Out!, in the way that you just do trial and error over and over again until you succeed. And that's not even to talk about the spectacular animation and fantastic character designs. I would watch a 10-episode spin-off devoted to every inconsequential enemy in this game. Also, if Cuphead isn't your top choice for Smash, you can get the hell out of my face. In the anime scene, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 5, Vento Awero, may just be my favorite anime I've had the pleasure of watching week by week in ages. While Part 3 of JoJo had great battles, but suffered in the department of character, and Part 4 had amazing characters, but lackluster fights, it's Part 5 where I feel the formula is nailed, involving idiosyncratic and memorable characters in the kind of cerebral, unconventional stand battles I come to JoJo exclusively for. Even some of the minor villains along the way are now among my favorite characters in the JoJo continuity. From the hot-blooded but cold-armored Gyachio to the hideous and bone-chilling Chocolata. And as endearing as plucky sidekicks like Narantia and Trish are, Bruno Bucciarati, I feel, reigns supreme as the greatest hero in any segment of JoJo, being admirable and yet heartbreaking every step along the way. All of this tied together with unforgettable music and gorgeous set pieces housed in beautiful Italy. Although I try to carry myself as someone intellectual and eclectic, at the end of the day, I have the same base degenerate gremlin desires as anyone else. Shooting up demons, slicing demons to ribbons, and blowing demons to smithereens. And nothing has given me that pleasure in such excellence as Devil May Cry. I'm only recently trying these games out because the recent 5th installment looked so incredible. I was only really familiar with Dante and company through the Marvel vs. Capcom games and the like, but boy have I been missing out. This is now one of my new favorite game series, with Devil May Cry 3 in particular ranking among my top 10 games ever in my book after trying it out for the first time. Claiming your slay demon foes as new weapons is exceptionally satisfying, and the way 3 in particular weaves this into the story I think is just brilliant. I also love how the characters are so exceptionally beautiful and badass, but they don't try to be anything besides what they are. You don't need a master's degree in storytelling to know what's going on in Devil May Cry, because it knows exactly what it is. It's a rocket launcher riding, pizza eating, demon killing bash, and I love it endlessly for that. Sometimes we all just need to unwind and laugh at something. And for that express purpose, I was lucky enough to happen upon the dreadfully underrated, short-lived sitcom Happy Endings. The first episode of Happy Endings will lead you to believe that it's just another Friends ripoff, but as it goes on and just gets zanier and the characters develop, you'll find it's more than deserving of its own identity and its own following. The best I could describe the show is if you took the cozy, parasocial format of Friends and blended it with the more offbeat, cutaway, fast-paced humor of How I Met Your Mother, made only faster by the single-camera format not supported by a laugh track, allowing for zany cuts and almost reality-bending jokes that make Happy Endings all the more memorable. If you're in desperate need of a new sitcom instead of rewatching The Office or Frasier for the 50th time, you should give Happy Endings a chance. Earlier this summer, as with every summer, was E3, and around the musings and rumors, I saw some supposed leaks that there would be a new Wario Land game revealed. These leaks turned out to be erroneous, but I was rather disappointed, because the mere notion got me to look into these old games from my younger years and remember just how much fun they were. They had all the same solid platforming and creativity as a Mario game, but a little more subversive, a little more crude, a little more Wario. Instead of just hopping on enemies and stomping them down, Wario could grab them, punch the coins out of them for his own gain, and swing them around and use them to bludgeon other foes. Sure, there's still WarioWare, but I just think it's a shame that the spirit of the Wario Land and World games has been ignored for so long. Wario's enemies could be genuinely creepier compared to Mario's, and the way he would react to being attacked by springing up into the air after being squashed, or using zombie powers after being zombified, or spitting fire after being lit on fire. It was all just so great, and it really makes me wish the inventive and spontaneous nature Wario brought forward. And I really hope those leaks may lead to something in the future, because Lord knows a Wario platformer on the Switch would be precisely what I'd be hungry for. And also, if your top choice for Smash is anyone besides Captain Syrup, you can get the hell out of my face. Batman vs. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a match made in dimly lit, masked city defending heaven. But what sounds like what a 7-year-old might mutter while bashing his action figures together is actually by far the most fun I've had with a straight-to-video release in ages. It was refreshing to see a PG-13 take on the Turtles that isn't afraid to have Shredder decapitate someone, but also doesn't try too insanely hard to be edgy. Speaking of which, Shredder's chemistry with Ra's al Ghul as a duo of evil was incredible. The Ninja Turtles have surprising bonds with the Bat family. I never thought I'd say I'd love a bromance between Michelangelo and Alfred Pennyworth. And if you've ever wanted to see the Arkham Rogues get infected by mutagen that turns them into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle-esque animal mutants, this is the movie for you. On the smaller scale of the YouTube screen, I've been really enjoying Defunctland, and his series of mini documentaries on various amusement parks and animatronics, but most notably, his Defunct TV miniseries on the history of Jim Henson. As someone who grew up watching The Muppets, it is mystifying how one man could be so kind, creative, connecting, and yet complicated, and watching his full stories ranging from his wild successes to his most miserable failures honestly brought a tear to my eye at points. And all of this, of course, can be chalked up to Defunctland's skill as a storyteller, editor, and overall documentarian. The Muppets were super important to me growing up, and if that's remotely true for you, this series will give you an either new or rekindled appreciation for them. And last, but certainly not least, those of you in certain circles have almost definitely heard of the passing of Stephen Hillenburg. This hit especially hard for me, not only because SpongeBob SquarePants, his crowning creation, was such a huge part of my childhood, but because Stephen passed away, on a more personal note, of the same illness that took my grandfather. But Nickelodeon did not shy away from paying tribute, especially in the recent special, SpongeBob's Birthday Blowout, in which almost every SpongeBob character I could conceive, playing the most minuscule role in a SpongeBob episode, comes together to celebrate SpongeBob's birthday. Meanwhile, Patrick and SpongeBob arrive on the surface and see a bizarro SpongeBob World version of the Krusty Krab, in which the characters' voice actors all play live-action human counterparts of their cartoons. I could not make this up if I tried, and it's just as strange and hilarious as it sounds. Seeing these performers come together and embody their characters as they never have before was almost kind of a strange thing of beauty. And I'm really glad this is how Nickelodeon decided to pay tribute to Stephen Hillenburg, because he created a world and characters that meant so much to so many people. It even warms my heart that big celebrities like Tom Wilson and David Hasselhoff were willing to take time out of their schedules to pay tribute to Stephen Hillenburg and reprise long bit parts from years ago, because their history within SpongeBob means that much to them, and I think they know it means a lot to the viewers. What else can be said besides happy birthday, SpongeBob? I want to thank those of you who came to watch my big comeback. Like I said, this was just kind of a small refresher to cover some bases that I was absent to talk about along the way. I want to assure you that new videos are coming soon, and I hope you enjoy them as much as I'm looking forward to making them. Have a lovely day.